And good evening and welcome to another edition of The Way I See It. I am Ralph Williams. It's great to be here tonight. We're about a half hour behind schedule here tonight, but I had another obligation, and that's why we're starting at 7:30 right here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. We have a lot to talk about, as we always do every single Monday night right here on The Way I See It. All right, coming up, we're going to start off with our blast segment coming up as well. We have everything that the show normally has tonight. Lots of great topics to talk about tonight as well, and so on and so forth. First of all, before we get started, I want to take a moment to, I think we need to send our prayers out to the people down in Fort Myers, Florida, and anyone connected with this Hurricane Ian. I think we should send some prayers out tonight, and as usual at church or wherever, for Hurricane Ian's, the victims, people who are, displaced, having issues with, getting housing, food, and just having all kinds of issues due to the, due to the hurricane. All right, tonight's Chinese wisdom is this, and here it goes. You ready? Follow your heart, and you will find happiness. So that's tonight's Chinese wisdom, brought to you by DJ Fun. DJ Fun is a party DJ. Call 412-545-4317. DJ Fun will be in your house if you need them to for any kind of a party or a special event or a wedding, perhaps. But DJ Fun is always available. Call 412-545-4317. DJ Fun will not take you to the cleaners. He won't gouge you in any way, but call him today. And don't delay. Call him today. All right. Let's get into our blast segment, brought to you by Robin Campbell Insurance, 412-366-3399. Farmers Insurance with Robin Campbell. Look, I can't stress this anymore, okay? You need to call Robin today if you rent any kind of property, okay? If you rent a house, if you rent an apartment, if you rent anything, any kind of property of any sort, you need to call Robin today for some renters insurance. And the reason I say this is because there are people out there who live in apartment buildings, and they think that management says to them when they sign their lease, oh, well, you know what, we're going to have, you're covered with us, that's fine. Don't trust management. In any kind of an apartment building or rental property or anything, do not trust management. Do not trust your landlord. I'm not trying to say not to trust them altogether, but when it comes to things like that, call Robin today. It's about the price of a daily cup of coffee. Ask him about renters insurance and tell him you heard it right here on The Way I See It. All right, let's get started with our blast segment. At first, I want to blast the Freeport High School for the racial slurs that they produced at the football game against Shady Side Academy. Now, is that necessary? Is that really necessary for this racial slur stuff? This goes on too much at high school games. All right? This went on a few other times last year and over the last few years. Okay? What is up with everybody that there has to be these kind of racial slur kind of stuff that goes on? There's no need for any of that. All right, and that's why I'm blasting Freeport tonight, because I'm real surprised at how good the Freeport kids are, that you would actually do racial slurs against Shady Side Academy, which is actually a great school as well. All right, but to do this is inappropriate and unacceptable to me, and tonight that's the way I see it with that. Next, I want to talk about the oil companies. The oil companies kissing OPEC's butt. All right, now all of a sudden OPEC wants to start or cut back production, and now we have to pay more money again for gas. First, we're paying more for gas because of Ukraine, because President Biden blows his nose the wrong way, or because of some issue that the oil companies always have to thieve us. All right, they always have to be crooks and thieves, and something needs to be done about it, because sooner or later it's going to bankrupt this whole country, and that is the way I see it tonight. Next, the people who torched the 3 police vehicles from the City of Pittsburgh Police Department at their training facility on the north side. You know what? Shame on you. You should have never did that. You know what? If you were, maybe you weren't or were not on the police's radar. Well, you are now. And there's a reward for this. Okay? There's a reward for this. And you know better than to torch 3 police vehicles that belong to the Pittsburgh City Police Bureau. How dare you? You know what? That takes a lot of guts. And you know what? I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. That takes guts. But you know what? One thing that comes with guts sometimes comes stupid. And stupid never takes a vacation. And the 3 of you who did, or the 2 of you who did this, you are stupid because you didn't realize that there are cameras there. And you didn't realize now that there's an award out for your arrest. So guess what, guys? Stupid never takes a vacation. And that is the way I see it tonight. All right. Next, the Oil City man who left his child in a car while he went into a restaurant and had something to eat. And his child was sick. This is the interesting part about it. Your child was sick and you left him in a car. Why would you do that? Why? That's why I'm blasting you tonight, because you shouldn't have done this. This is shameful and unacceptable to me. That is the way I see it tonight with that. That is your blast segment brought to you by Robin Campbell Insurance. 412-366-3399. Call Robin Campbell today. He'll get you set up with all of the best in insurance that you need. All right, the Bonehead segment tonight is brought to you by Claudia Rosano's book, Think from the Heart Up, Not the Neck Up. All right, and it also will help you in your career in business, not just in sports, but also in business. Claudia Rosano is a world-renowned scout. He is also a baseball coach for Carnegie Mellon University. Wrote this book about a year or so ago, and let me tell you what, it's a great book. You need to go out and get it. It's at Barnes & Noble and Robinson or on Amazon. Think from the Heart Up, Not the Neck Up, Claudia Rosano. And I tell you what, it's a great. If you're someone that's running a business, or you are someone that's running a department in your business, and you want to get better at it, well, read Claudio's book today. So you can get it on Amazon and through his publisher, and also you can get it on up at the Barnes & Noble up there in Robinson Township as well. All right, the Bonehead segment tonight, we have the West Virginia man who was a school janitor who got arrested for possessing meth. How in the world do you take meth to your job? You got busted, and now you're probably going to get fired, and you've been arrested for having meth. That boy, I tell you what, when I said it before, stupid never takes a vacation, but this was a boneheaded move. Next bonehead, the guy who pulled over, all right, a woman pretending to be a cop, and then has the audacity to say the police are not doing their job. No kidding. No kidding. But you're such a bonehead that you decide you're going to do this and then get caught. All right, that's the interesting part about this. You know, it's one thing to do this, but it's another to get caught, and that was a boneheaded move, and that's tonight's boneheaded segment here on The Way I See It. All right, next we're going to get into our life story. And I had an interesting weekend, as I always do, okay? But this interesting weekend, it was my birthday. Saturday was my birthday. I turned 54 years old on Saturday. And Saturday, we decided, my wife, my mom, and I, to go to the casino. So we did. We go to the casino, and come to find out, is something very interesting here, that the buffet restaurant is not reopening. Okay, so those of you out there who really like the buffet restaurant, which I liked, and some other folks liked, a lot of other folks liked, okay, it's not going to be there anymore. I've even been there for Thanksgiving. They have a very nice Thanksgiving spread, better than Golden Corral's, because I've been to Golden Corral for Thanksgiving, and food's a little too salty for my taste. But anyway, so the excuses I got from the casino were, well, they couldn't open up because of two reasons. COVID is what they blamed, the first thing. And then the second thing they said was because they couldn't get enough employees. Now, I can understand you can't get enough employees. That's everywhere. Everybody's having that problem. I don't care where you are. I don't care what kind of business you have. I don't care what goes on. Everybody's having that problem. So they tell me this, and this is what they said to me. They said that that what had happened was when the buffet closed up because they couldn't handle COVID. And then they said that when they tried to reopen, they couldn't get any employees. They tried, but they couldn't get any employees. Now, first of all, I was not a big fan of the buffet recently, right before COVID. All right, right before COVID. All right. And the reason why I wasn't a fan of it was because, in case you're not aware, I worked in the food service business. All right. So I know what food service is. I was in customer service for over 35 years before I had to retire because of my health. So I would eat at the Grandview buffet, pay $25 or whatever it is you pay, even when you have a rewards card, one of their players' cards or whatever. Okay. And the macaroni and cheese was dry. Okay. They had this country fried steak that was so dry you couldn't even eat it. And they used to have really nice food there. They used to have these nice big thick pierogies. Now they have these little mini ones from the food service company. And most of the food that I had eaten there, I recognized it because I know it's food service food. Okay. So what had happened was I said, well, you know what? I'm not going to eat here anymore because why should I pay $25 and not be able to get the right kind of food that, you would think for $25 at a buffet, you would get top quality food. And then they lie to you. They tell you that, well, we got these chefs making it back there. No, you don't. Okay. All you have is people heating up frozen food and making stuff, when they first opened up the casino and they had that Grandview buffet, it was great. They had chefs there. They were making Alfredo sauce with big, thick raviolis in the Italian area. And now in the Italian area, they got these little teeny-weeny little veal things. And then they have a create your own pasta. And they used to have somebody there that would make it for you, but you got to do it yourself now. Okay? And then they would have these little raviolis with or some kind of a sauce. Okay? But that's what they had every time you went there. All right? At least before, they would switch up on everything. So what happened to the buffet at the casino? It got lazy. And they decided we're going to go with food service food. And what we're going to do is we're going to charge the same price. Oh, nobody will recognize it. Nobody cares. Okay? That is the truth because it was always busy. All right? I recognized it because I was in that kind of business, so I understand what it is. The Wheelhouse. Well, I went to eat at the Wheelhouse restaurant. Very reasonable food. I had a steak. I had baked potato, a vegetable medley, and a wedding soup. Everything was good. I didn't have a problem. Had an appetizer. My mom and my wife and I ate there. But here was the kicker at the beginning. Okay. I had to sign up to get a table because they didn't have any available at the time. So they told me 45 minutes to an hour. I said, okay, fine. So I went back out and, did my thing at the casino. All right. They said, we'll text you when your table's ready. So I see the text. It says your table's ready at the Wheelhouse. Come up. So I get a hold of my mom. I get a hold of my wife. We were in different little areas of the casino. We were close to the Wheelhouse. We come back. We get over there. And I said, look it right here. It says my table's ready. Oh, no, Mr. Williams, your table's not ready. I said, well, what does this say here on my phone? That my table's ready. So this guy here, of course, can't answer my question. I have to go get this manager. Now, this guy, he's probably about 20 years old, maybe 21. Probably his first manager's job or whatever. And he comes up to me and he goes, oh, you're lying. He says, you're lying. There's no way because we don't have you marked here. I said, I'm lying. I said, so, I got very angry. And I try not to get angry because I don't want to stress myself out. Okay? When you get angry and you get stressed out like that, you lose focus on everything. All right? And I just didn't want to lose focus on that, and so I really didn't want to get angry, but I did. Because he called me a liar. I said, let me tell you something. I'm a deacon in my church. Don't you ever call me a liar. And I said, and then number two, on top of all this, it's my birthday today, and this is the way you're going to treat me? So he looks at my phone, and he goes, well, this was from last year. I said, sir, I wasn't in this restaurant last year. So I have no idea what you're talking about. The last time I was at this restaurant was before COVID, and I haven't been here since. So don't sit there and tell me I'm a liar and then I'm just showing you what the date says here. I says, yeah, but again, I was never here for 2 years. So how do you justify trying to tell me that I'm a liar? So then he not only calls me a liar, he says, well, your table's not ready yet. You still have to wait. I said, what part of this don't you understand? Your system, well, again, like I told you, I said, but I wasn't here last year. And I mean, I'm like trying to really tell this guy. And then on top of all this, you know what really bothers me? Instead of people trying to help me or stick up for me, they stand there and laugh. They think it's funny. They think, everybody in this society today thinks everything is a joke. And it's not. It's not funny at all. Okay? And then instead of these people standing there actually doing something to help me, they're laughing about it. They think it's funny. I said, what are you laughing at? What's so funny about it? So then I get seated and I'm sitting down and I'm saying something about the whole thing. And this guy's sitting at the table laughing in my face. He, like it's funny. I said, mister, you think it's really funny, don't you? You really think it's funny that I'm upset because I didn't get my table? What would happen if that would happen to you? Would you be, now, let me ask you this. Would you appreciate somebody laughing at you? Come on, Pittsburgh. Come on, everybody. Would you appreciate somebody laughing at you when you know you're right? The system said to me on my phone that I had my table ready. And this manager, and I even told him, I said, listen, don't play games with me. I host a podcast. I'll blast you from here next week. He didn't even care. And he didn't even care it was my birthday. That was even the worst part of it all. I says, here, I'll show you my ID. It's my birthday. He didn't care. All he kept saying was, well, your table's not ready yet, Mr. Williams. Your table's not ready yet, Mr. Williams. I am not a third grader. I understand what you're saying. Do something about it. Okay? It's not my fault that your technology, that your system sent me a notice saying my table is ready. Okay? Not my fault the wrong date's on there. I wasn't at your restaurant last year. So how do you justify me being at your restaurant last year? Okay? Come on, everybody. What would happen if it happened to you? Let me ask you that question. If it would happen to you. Okay? And it's not funny. It's not funny at all. Because the way I see it is if it happened to you, you wouldn't want somebody laughing at you about this. Okay? And especially if someone calls you a liar. A liar. This manager called me a liar. All right? Casino security. Okay, casino security was good. Parking rates were good. We actually beat the system because they have parking rates for the event. Pit game was going on. Okay. It was first of the month. It was still a madhouse at the casino. All right. But the bottom line, it was my birthday. I was doing everything I could to have fun. And I did. I had a good time. I had fun despite the fact of this manager. But like I said, what really bothers me, and you know what's funny about this is it goes back to what I've been saying for many years here on this program. Nobody cares. Nothing. Nobody cares. If you cared, you wouldn't laugh like that. What's so funny about somebody getting upset because they didn't get their table? When you know you're right, but then you call me a liar. You called me a liar. That's the thing that really gets to me about this. You called me a liar. I mean, it was the bottom line was they claimed they didn't have my table ready, but then on the other hand, they're going to call me a liar on top of it. And that was the interesting part that was not funny at all, was the fact that they called me a liar. Okay. All right. Key topics tonight. We have a few. Later on, we have some top tens and some top sevens, some different things this month that are going on throughout the month of October. Also, it's Cancer Awareness Month too, in case you're not aware. So you're going to be seeing people wearing pink and the building lights in Pittsburgh being pink and pink this and pink that, pink everywhere. All right. All right. Right now, we're going to get into our key topics. And our key topics are: man dies by falling from an escalator at Acrisure Stadium. Now, let me ask you this. I've worked at Acrisure Stadium, so I know what I'm talking about. Okay. I have seen the average Steeler fan. Okay. I worked there as an usher, and I worked there for a private event staffing company. So I've worked at Heinz Field. I've interacted with the fans at Heinz Field. And Acrisure Stadium. I have nothing against anybody who drinks. And I keep telling you that. So please, don't put words in my mouth. And don't, what they say, take my words out of context, because it's not going to work. I know what I'm talking about because I've been there and done it. Okay? Now, I understand this guy died, the one that fell off this escalator at Acrisure Stadium. The investigation's going on. And I can just about imagine what happened. And I could tell you what happened. He probably had too much to drink. Okay? Have you ever been to a Steeler game at Acrisure Stadium? Have you? Now, pit games are not so bad, but you get a few obnoxious people. Like I was at the West Virginia game, drunk and obnoxious. Okay? Tennessee fans were great. There were no Rhode Island fans at the Rhode Island game. All right? I couldn't make the Georgia Tech game because I was out for my birthday. And I'm not going to be able to make this Saturday's game against Virginia Tech either. Okay? So pit games are not so bad, except for the West Virginia game. But have you ever been to a Steeler game? All right? Because when you go to a Steeler game, not only do you have the Steeler drunks, you have the visiting team drunks there as well. And as long as there's beer on the premises, I don't care if you cut it down to a cup of one glass or one purchase per person at the stadium. It's not going to work. The reason it's not going to work is because people are going to get drunk, whether you try to cut it down or not. And I'll lay $1 to a dime that this guy was drunk. And if I'm wrong, I'll tell you I'm wrong. But I think he was. Okay? There have been incidents on these escalators. Back about 3-4 years ago, there was an incident involving some people at Kenny Chesney. And guess what? They were drunk. They were drunk. Okay? So with that, and them being drunk, made the incident even worse. They fell off the steps. Now, the event services company that I worked for, I was in charge of watching the escalator to make sure people didn't overcrowd on the steps of the escalator. 3, 4, 5 people stepped on one step. That's how accidents happen. People fall over. But people don't care about that stuff. When it comes to safety, you can get folks out here that just don't care. They really don't. Okay? Because if they did, they would watch what they do. They don't. Because they're too busy playing around on a cell phone. Their mind is into Minecraft and what do they call Xbox and TikTok and all that other stuff. Their mind's not, well, I need to go to the stadium and I'm going to need to be safe today, so I need to be careful about what I do. Nobody cares. I've watched escalators at the Peterson Event Center, to make sure people don't overcrowd on them either. And you think those college kids listen? No. They don't care either. Okay? We live in a society today, and if you don't see this, then there's something totally wrong with you. Either your head's in the sand or you just don't want to see it, or you don't want to admit the fact that I'm right. Okay, and I'm right because I am. Nobody cares. The majority of this society, and I'm not saying everybody, just has an I don't care attitude anymore. They don't care. They don't want to care. They don't need to care. And it boils down to my statement that I've made that this year is nothing. And I'll come up with something for next year. Okay? Nothing. Nobody cares about anything. Nobody cares about nothing. Nobody wants to care about nothing. And nobody does nothing about nothing. So there you go. It all boils down to nothing. Okay? So that's my opinion, and that's the way I see it tonight about the man who fell off the escalator at Acrisure Stadium. Next, I want to talk a little bit about this teacher who got sexually assaulted and physically assaulted at Oliver High School. Now, I watched the Pittsburgh Public Schools board meetings, their school board meetings on Pittsburgh Community Television, Channel 21, Comcast 47, Verizon. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Okay? All right, but what I want to talk about is this teacher at Oliver High School. And when I watched the school board meetings, they have talked about discipline and security throughout the summer for their meetings. That's nice. You want to know what they talk about? They don't talk about adding more security. They don't talk about doing better for security, like maybe holding the parents accountable for their kids' actions. They don't talk about that. You know what they talk about? We got to get them into programs. Programs is the idea. No more detention. No more send you home with your parents. No more making parents responsible like they used to, take them to court for truancy, and if your kid misbehaves. They still do it in Woodland Hills, and I know that because I have an ex-girlfriend whose daughter was bad. And she ended up always in court because A, her child didn't go to school, and B, her child was disruptive. And it was so bad that the magistrate said, if I ever see you in here again for this, you're both going to jail. Okay? I'm not going to say which magistrate it was, but I know because I was there when it happened. All right? And this magistrate wasn't joking around. We need more people like this magistrate. This school board has got to quit playing the little softy game. Oh, we can't do that to these kids. Yes, you can. Put them in detention. Start arresting parents. Start fining them. Start making them accountable for what their kids do, because they're the reasons why, possibly the reasons why their kid does what they do. Okay? And it's another thing that I've gone back to another thing that I've said on this program many times, that today's parenting is not great. And I'm not saying it's everybody, but there's a majority. Parenting stinks. Kids are terrible. They act up. They don't care. All right? You could put them in every program there is, and it's not going to work. All right? So I'm tired of the school board, and these are your elected officials. If you have a child that's in the city school system, and I feel bad for you if you do, you should vote out the person that's in your area. Because I'm thinking about running for school board, and I don't even have kids in school. Okay? The reason I don't have kids I have kids in schools because I don't have any that are in school at this time. Okay? Do you catch what I'm saying? But if you have a child in school in the Pittsburgh public school system, you need to get that child and you need to get them out and find something else for them. Take them to a private school, one of them charter schools, one of them Propels. All right? Because Pittsburgh public schools, they're not safe, and the board has no idea what they're doing. And I blame you, the parent, for this because you're the ones that put these people in here. All right? All they talk about is programs. Programs. Okay? Quit talking about programs and do something about your security problem. You have one. teachers are not safe anymore. That's another reason teachers don't want to teach anymore. That's one of the reasons why nobody wants to be a teacher. They're afraid they're going to get shot, killed. Look at Uvalde, Texas. Look at some of these other schools that have happened over the years. Look at that thing that happened in Colorado years ago. Okay? 3 places that are supposed to be safe in this world: school, church, and home. And it's not anymore. My church is safe, but there are some churches that are not safe. It's not safe when the priest is molesting somebody. That's not safe. It's supposed to be, those are supposed to be the 3 safest places for a child, and it's not. Okay? It's not. And that's sad. And this teacher to have to go through what she went through at Oliver, and the other kid there, one other teacher that got slapped and spat on in Perry, and the other one that happened. There's been so many incidents, everybody. We'd be here all night if I sat here and named them all out to you. And I'm not going to, because I have other topics to talk about. But I wanted to say this because it goes on too much in the Pittsburgh public school system. And I blame the parents, and I blame the people who put these people into the system. Okay? All right. Today I want to talk about, speaking of security, before we get into this other issue I want to talk about. It's a very serious one, by the way, this other topic, okay? Because this affects you too. And it affects me, and it affects a lot of other people, all right? But what I want to talk about is the update of Kennywood security. Now Kennywood has decided to update their security because of the incident that happened last Saturday. So this weekend, everything was quiet at Kennywood. The gangs weren't there. Why were the kids there in the first place, as I mentioned on last week's show? Why were they there without parents or some kind of chauffeur or some kind of guardian? Okay? Why? Explain that to me, why? Okay? Kennywood has updated security. They have County, West Mifflin, and their security there as well. Police, West Mifflin Police, County Police. I even heard there was a city officer there on his own time at Kennywood. And then I have all these people on there on Friday night making me look bad because I said nobody would go to Kennywood. And I was wrong. I'll admit I was wrong. Oh, a couple punks bother my fun. Well, what happens if those couple punks show up again? What happens if Kennywood drops the ball or lays an egg? What happens now? What happens if it affects your family? Okay? Is it safe? I don't know. I don't go there for Halloween. I don't go there for Christmas either. I've been there once this year for the Pierogi Festival, and I'll be back next year for the Pierogi Festival because that's the only time I go. Because I don't like the way Kennywood discriminates against disabled people. Every other park you go to in the United States, there's a rate for disabled people in wheelchairs, $20 or general admission or something. Now, Kennywood claims, and I quote, now this is what Kennywood claims now, and I've spoken to them about this. I've tried to get Nick Paradise on this program many times, will not come on. Okay? But this was the explanation I got from media relations, and they told me this. They said they don't have general admission because they don't want the troublemakers in there who are not going to spend any money. Okay? Who are not going to spend any money. They're going to come in and cause problems. They're going to loaf. They're going to loiter. They're not going to play no games, buy no fudge. They're not going to, eat at the restaurant. They're not going to ride on any rides. They're just there to hang out. That's what I found out. That's the explanation I got from Kennywood. Okay? But nobody from Kennywood will come on my program and explain anything. I don't know what they're afraid of. They barely said anything to the news about the incident that happened a week or so ago. All right? But were you at Kennywood this weekend? Was the security adequate for you? I wouldn't go back if I saw something like that. And Kennywood's going to lose a lot of business. Unless you get these, I'm not going to let Kennywood I'm not going to let a couple punks ruin my fun. There's other places to go, folks, other than Kennywood. That may be safer. That haunted hayride in North Versailles where that kid got shot a few years back. They're reopening. They're being sued by that kid, his family, because they claim there was not adequate security there. If you want to get rid of the stupid people and the people that cause problems, no matter what kind of business you own, no matter what kind of entity you have, no matter what kind of establishment you have, okay, you will need to have great and good and efficient security. Because nowadays, without it, look at the results. Do you want to get sued? Because we have sue-happy people out there that would be more than happy to sue you. Okay? Kennywood tells me this too. They make changes based on lawsuits. They changed the Phantom's, the Steel Phantom to the Phantom's Revenge because of lawsuits. They got rid of this ride because of lawsuits. They got rid of this, or they stopped giving out regular baseballs to throw at those milk bottles because some minor league baseball pitcher threw it so fast it bounced off the thing and hit some kid in the eye, and he has permanent eye damage. They sued Kennywood. If Kennywood gives you a straw that's busted, you're going to sue Kennywood. That's another thing that media relations told me was when they make a move, it's because of that. Okay? And they're going to get sued for this incident with these kids. And I feel bad for Kennywood because they really didn't make the problem, but they were a part of the problem because of the fencing and because of being able to stick a gun in between the fence that's in the back behind the Grand Prix there. And along that whole fence line. I saw it with my own eyes. See, I used to smoke cigars, but because of my health now, my doctor has told me I'm no longer allowed to. So when I would go to Kennywood, the smoking section happened to be over there. I would see some of the custodians or the trash people or whatever dumping trash around the back there, and the fence was there with a little lock on it, a little chain. All right? That's where we are with Kennywood. That's the way I see it tonight. Next, I want to talk about PCTV a little bit. You know, I got a phone call this week from a gentleman there named Carl at PCTV. Now, you know this if you've watched my program many times. And I appreciate Icebreaker checking in tonight. Thank you, Icebreaker, for watching the program. All right? But let's get back to this now. PCTV. What does PCTV do for the community? Well, they provide TV services, community television, of all different sorts of things. The school board, city school board, people doing music, whatever you want to do. Okay, you're a community. You can go there and get trained to be a community producer. You can go there and be trained to be a director or any kind of a producer. They have classes there, they have instructors there. You pay X amount of money per month. Check them for, I'm not going to give you the rates here, but you can check for listings. Okay? And you could go there and be a community producer and put it on any kind of show you basically want. All right? Okay? And it runs 24 hours, 7 days a week. Your program will be on a rotating basis unless you sign up or you apply to be a steady slot. Okay? I have a steady slot on there for 2 shows. And my 2 shows are, the way I see it, which is what you're watching right now, the TV version, and I have a TV version of Sports Corner as well. And now on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, my co-host from the TV show, Smokin' Jim Frazier, is my co-host here on the podcast. Okay? And Smokin' Jim, he's part of my show. He's part of Steel City Sports World, with Claudio Rosano and Luther Dupree. He's part of the boxing authorities with Claudio and Luther as well. And we all have great programming on there. In fact, I think we have the 3 best shows of the entire network. But the main reason I want to talk about PCTV tonight is community television is here for you. It's here to watch. You can watch community. If you live in Bethel Park has their own community television too. Okay, they have sports shows. Al Levine's got 3 or 4 shows. The Talking Machine. He's been a guest with me several times on my TV show. He's been on here on on my Sports Corner podcast when I had it on a different night. He can't come on Tuesdays because he has his own show at 7 p.m. before mine. Okay. All right. So here we are. All right. PCTV. Carl calls me. And he says, Ralph, he says, I want to invite you to a board meeting. It's coming up in October. Okay. He says, we're taking suggestions from community producers and some things are going to happen. Okay. Now, the reason why PCTV has been asking for more donations than ever before is because the Comcast Cable and Verizon refuse to give their share of the money that's supposed to be owed to community broadcasting. There's a federal law out there that says if you have community television on your cable broadcasting channel, you must give them money. Well, you know, Comcast and Verizon, they're so greedy for a buck that they've decided to start cutting back on what they pay PCTV. So now PCTV's in the hole, and I'm not going to tell you how much. But what I need from you as a person who watches my shows is to give a small donation to PCTV or become a community producer. And let me tell you this, the rates are not that expensive to become a community producer. You can volunteer there as well. If you have any camera, working with the camera, working with controls, maybe you've done some production work somewhere, and you have some time to kill or you need it for school or something like that, you can go there. 1300 Western Avenue on the north side, PCTV. Please help them out if you can. Because I want to explain something to you. I know some other public access TV channels in Butler and Beaver and Armstrong and all these other counties. And all it is a bulletin board. Here they have live TV programming done by community producers who live in Allegheny County. Okay? You live in Allegheny County and you want to put something out there, TV show-wise, maybe you want to talk sports, maybe you want to talk about race cars, or maybe you want to talk about sewing, or it doesn't matter. Okay? You need to call PCTV today. All right? And help them out. All right? I don't have a lot of money to give them. I will help them out with a donation. But these cable companies and their infinite wisdom again, because the cable companies are losing money because of streaming services, and you need to go see your federal politician. Your senator or your congressman, and you need to tell them they need to change the laws to where an internet provider who provides community television like Roku, Amazon, Apple TV, okay, who carry PCTV for free. They don't give us any money. They don't give PCTV any money. That needs to change. That needs to change. Hulu, whatever else. Because these streaming services now is where everybody's going. Money is not there anymore for cable because nobody's buying cable. Nobody's doing cable. Everybody's doing a streaming service now. 98% of Americans do streaming service. You got people who, like my mom, don't understand cable and streaming and stuff. They stick with a digital box. Good for them. Okay. All right, we're going to get into some interesting scenarios here. All right. And I want to talk about the top 10 burgers in Pittsburgh, done by a group or a app called Zelly. Now, Zelly is like Yelp, okay? It's like Yelp, all right? And they rated 10 best burger joints in Pittsburgh. And it starts off with number 1, Burgatory. Number 2, August Henry's. Now, I've never eaten at Burgatory because I've been told that they're very pricey. But I heard they have very good burgers, okay? August Henry's, I've eaten at August Henry's. They do have good hamburgers. Stacked, I've never eaten at Stacked. They're in Oakland. And then they have a few other locations somewhere now in the Pittsburgh area in western Pennsylvania. All right, I'm not sure where, but I know they do. Okay. Tessero's in Bloomfield. I've eaten at Tessero's. I knew the late owner, Kelly. His sister Moya runs it now. I don't know the quality of the food, but according to this, they rated them number 4 in the area for a great hamburger. And they cook it on a wood fire grill. All their food's cooked on a wood fire grill, Tessero's. Very good place to eat, by the way. Used to be a sponsor of one of my shows that I had on WEDO radio. All right, Burger's Brewery in Lawrenceville. All right, the Butter Joint. I'm not sure where that is, but Burger's Brewery in Lawrenceville is number 5. Number 6 is this Butter Joint. I'm not sure where that is. The Urban Tap is on the south side. Their burgers are rated at number 7. Number 8, the Park Bruggies. I don't know where that is either, but that's number 8. Over the Bar on the south side, near the South Side Works. It's right on Carson Street. It's called Over the Top Bar, or Over the Bar. Moonlit Burgers, number 10. Those are the 10 top-rated top 10 burgers in all of the western Pennsylvania area in Pittsburgh, more or less. Let's talk about the top 10 pizzas. Now, here's something that's very interesting. You know Calienda's Pizza? Have you ever eaten their pizza? They have some locations, and then they have one at Acrisure Stadium. Now, listen to this. They claim, Calienda's, that they went to Italy and won all these pizza contests in Italy. I don't think their pizza's that good. Now, are they lying? That's my question, because they're not even on this top 10 by Zelli's. Number 1 in town, Ironborn Pizza. Number 2, Fiore's in Brookline. Oh, I've eaten at Fiore's. Great pizza. Driftwood Pizza. Minio's in Mount Lebanon and Squirrel Hill. Very good pizza at Minio's. Beato's the same way. Beato's on Banksville. They make their pizza kind of strange, but it's actually good pizza once you eat it. And it's not that expensive either. They make square cuts. They put hot sauce on it, and then they throw cheese on it, and the cheese is cold. They put it in a specially aligned box. By the time you get home, it's melted. And it's delicious. All right? Next, Picaro Forno up in Mount Lebanon. Does anybody remember that place? I do. And I remember that Picaro or whatever it was called, Pizza Picaro or whatever up there in Mount Lebanon. They were the ones who wouldn't give any service to that guy because he snitched on them because their workers weren't wearing masks during COVID. So he kicked them out. He'd come back, try to get food. The next time he kicked them out. And then he put his face up on the wall and said, "Do not serve this guy." Okay? I mean, this owner was pissed, and I don't blame him. I mean, because I thought COVID was a bunch of BS the way it was handled in this state. All right? I'm not going to go into that. That's another show for another day. All right? Badamo's Pizza, number 6, I'm sorry. Then Picaro Forno was number 7. Beato's at number 5. Number 8, Pizza Parma, Shady Side in downtown. Very good pizza. My church orders pizza from there, food. They do catering. Very good food, Pizza Parma. Pizza Perfecta in Shady Side. Again, a good place to eat pizza. Napoli in Squirrel Hill. I haven't eaten a Napoli in a while, but Napoli is very good food up in Squirrel Hill, right up there, right 4 or 5 doors up from Minio's, right on Murray Avenue. Very good food. But my question is, again, where is Caliente? You're supposed to be the pizza that was voted number 1 all across Italy. But where are you on this list? You have a stand at you have a booth or whatever you call it there, or a building at Acrisure Stadium. Fox's has the contract for them. They have, if you go to most of the concession stands, they have Fox's. Then they have Franco Harris's Pizza right outside of Heinz Field. Very good pizza, by the way, Franco's Harris's Pizza. I'm sure that the Vento family has something to do with that, and their pizza is very good as well. They're not on this list either. I don't know why. Top 3 cities that you can live in if you make $2,000 a month. Now, this top 3, all right, Lowell, Massachusetts is number 1. Number 2, Allentown, Pennsylvania. I've been to Allentown. Not a bad little area. Number 3, take a guess. Number 3 is Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is number 3. Wow. If you make $2,000 a month, you can live there. All right, here we go. Top 7 TV shows filmed in Pittsburgh by the group Next Pittsburgh, okay? Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood's number 1, Amazon's new league of their own. Number 3, Minehunters. Number 4, Justified. The pilot episode was filmed here. That has Walton Goggins in it from The Shield. Guy that played in that Unicorn. Played in that show, The Unicorn. Bizarre Foods, America. 2013, they did 1 episode here. That's rated at number 5. Number 6 is the Anthony Bourdain, The Parts Unknown. All right, that was filmed here in 2017. And number 7, which was just recently filmed here with Jeff Daniels, American Rust. Okay, American Rust. So there we are. Number 10, top 10 barbecues by the Post-Gazette. Number 1, Big Rigs Barbecue, Monroeville. All right, number 2, Holy Smokes in Monroe. Monroeville's popular here. They have 3 places for barbecue in here. All right, you got Holy Smokes, you got Big Rigs, and then you got Walter's Southern Kitchen. And then you got a number 4, the top 3 are Monroeville. Number 4, you got Sporks in Garfield. All right, those of you who don't know, Sporks is owned by that famous chef who was supposed to who opened up that restaurant that's in that warehouse, that was in that warehouse building that's owned by John Fetterman. And what had happened was he decided to get out. He had a place up here in Mount Oliver, nearby where I live. Got out of that too. He was busted for embezzling money. He took some money from investors he was supposed to put in that restaurant in Braddock. He opened up 4 other locations, including a pit barbecue place over by my church over there in East Liberty, and it never worked out. This guy is a fraud. What he does is he opens up all these restaurants everywhere and shuts them down. Just shuts them down. Doesn't care. And he's embezzled money from investors that he was supposed to put into a restaurant. And I really wish this guy would go somewhere. Get out of Pittsburgh, because this guy is a fraud. And I never see anybody at his barbecue place over in Garfield. Now, he had another place called Spork. Then he had the barbecue place, and Spork closed up. So now he's got Spork in with the barbecue place. It's now called Spork Barbecue. Now, that's a little confusing to some people, but that's how it is. All right. All right. Mitchell's Barbecue at number 5 in Warrendale. Off the Rails, number 6 in Verona. Number 7, Ribs and Bread in Oakland. That's on Center Avenue. Blowfish Barbecue, wherever that is. Showcase Barbecue in Homewood at number 9. Number 10, Walter's Southern Kitchen in Lawrenceville. All right. So those are some top 10s, top 3s, top 7s. It's that time of the month for those. The month of October is usually the month when some of that stuff comes out. All right, we're going to finish up our last segment of topics here. Galleria Mall in Mount Lebanon up for sale. You know, places like that aren't surviving right now. They haven't survived in years due to the internet and some other reasons. That's the way I see it tonight about Galleria. Next. All right, here we are. The new hotel at the casino is opening up with a skeleton crew. Now, they have the 1 floor open of rooms. They're supposed to have 7 people to run the hotel 24/7. They only have 1. Until they get more help, they can't open the whole hotel as a whole. All right, that's the way I see it tonight. Bed Bath & Beyond has announced that they are closing up 150 stores across the country. They're trying to avoid bankruptcy, but it might go in that direction. That's the way I see it tonight. Next, a new class action lawsuit against the Allegheny County Jail. How interesting this is. I did a full show about a week or two ago about the jail. What's going on down here? I can't get anybody on here. I can't get Brian Englert on here. I can't get Bethany Hallam on here, and I can't get anybody else on here to talk about the jail. Nobody wants. There's a couple reporters that did articles on the jail. Don't even want to come on here. I don't know why, but they don't. Lawsuit claims that the jail it used probation detainers, excuse me, to keep people in jail for a prolonged period that didn't belong. Excuse me. That's where this is going with the jail, and the jail got egg on their face again, it looks like. Rivers Casinos topped the $1 million in payments to cover their payment of PPG Paints Arena. A lot of people don't know this. When this was done, when it was Consol Energy Center, excuse me. We're almost finished with the show, by the way. Wow. Oh, my. Excuse me. Anyway, Rivers Casino has paid their $100 million that's owed to the city to cover their $7 million a year payment to the county to cover the debt on PPG Paints Arena. They pay it to the RAD board. All right, that's the way I see it tonight. Ed Sheeran coming to town next year, July 8th, 2023. Not going to talk about that too much. That's the way I see it. He'll be at Acrisure Stadium. Tickets go on sale this coming Friday. The return of Applebee's all-you-can-eat wings, Olive Garden, started today. The never-ending Pasta Bowl. And Red Lobster has brought back their endless shrimp. Now, they do endless shrimp every Monday, but it's a condensed version. Now they have the full menu of endless shrimp back for a limited time, as they've done in the past. That's the way I see it tonight about that. World's biggest theater chain, Cinema World, has filed for bankruptcy. Oh, my. Wow. Yeah, they filed for bankruptcy. That's a shame. You know, theaters aren't there anymore. Everybody's watching stuff on Amazon on their phone from home. Why go to the theater, pay $20 to get in, $20 more or $50 more for food? By the time you leave out of there, you got to take out a loan. That's the way I see it tonight. WQED CEO Deb Acklin is stepping down. She's having some issues with cancer. She wants to focus on her cancer treatments. I wish her a lot of luck and say some prayers for Deb Acklin as she goes through that. WQED will be looking for a new CEO. Food stamp eligibility to expand as the White House has put together a new plan, which has been passed that they were going to have extended food stamp eligibility for those, dealing with COVID and some other issues. That's the way I see it tonight. Next, mustard. Mustard is becoming a problem. So if you like mustard in your potato salad, or if you like mustard on your sandwich or on your hot dog or on your hamburger, well, you're having problems getting mustard. They're having issues with mustard seeds because of the war in Ukraine. I'm not going to go there. That's the way I see it tonight. All right, don't forget tomorrow night, 8 o'clock p.m. right here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, Sports Corner with me, Ralph Williams, and Smokin' Jim Frazier. Wednesday night, talking wrestling with myself and Smokin' Jim Frazier. Same platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Thursday night, 8 p.m., Blog Talk Radio. Myself, Smokin' Jim Frazier, Mark Mancini, Clayton Trudor, our contributor, may be on as well. 347-205-9631 is the number to call. Saturday, don't forget our sports buffet starts off with me at 5. Sports Corner, myself, Smokin' Jim Frazier, 6 p.m., Steel City Sports World. Smokin' Jim Frazier, Claudia Rosano, Luther Dupree, 7 p.m. Saturday. The Boxing Authorities, Luther Dupree, Smokin' Jim Frazier, Claudia Rosano as well. I'm Ralph Williams. I'll talk with you tomorrow night right here on Facebook, YouTube, or on Twitch, whichever platform you're on. for Sports Corner. This has been The Way I See It, and this has been Ralph Williams. I will talk with you next Monday night for another epic episode of The Way I See It. Good night and be safe.